ketika museum kembali dihidupkan.
Sebetulnya ide berdirinya museum ini datang dari seorang pelukis yaitu Basuki Abdullah.
Para relawan turun tangan.
Supaya menonjolkan kembali museum, supaya dipugar bangunannya maupun tata pamerannya.
Meski bukan tanpa hambatan.
Tapi ini juga ada figur yang bahkan kacanya sudah pecah, Pak ya?
Sebuah perjuangan demi pendidikan.
Saya lahir dan besar di pelosok Ciamis ya. Ketika SD saya jalan sangat jauh sekali, 2 jam perjalanan pulang pergi.
Jalan kaki?
Setiap hari jalan kaki.
Untuk sekolah?
Untuk sekolah.
Mengejar ilmu dimanapun dan apapun kondisinya.
Saya harus harus sekolah. Jadi saya berangkat boleh jadi TKI tapi pulang harus jadi sarjana.
Kini ia pulang membawa perubahan.
Transparansi lebih dari sekedar terminologi.
We are working here every day to move this idea of government transparency from a philosophical discussion to an actuality.
Meski kadang terhalang persepsi.
In technology, we can't just be blind to the things that are happening outside of.
Inilah perjuangan memberantas korupsi.
So long as the data is open, everyone can look at it and use it for the purposes that matter to them. And that means that we have a more engaged citizenry, a more engaged public, and that fundamentally means we have a more representative democracy.
Saya Iqbal Himawan.
Saya Jane Simangunsong.
Saya Reza Ardiansyah.
Dan saya Prita Laura. Pemirsa, inilah 363 fakta membuka mata dalam 60 menit. Amerika Serikat adalah salah satu negara maju di dunia. Beberapa lembaga finansial independen bahkan menempatkan Amerika di ranking 1 dari negara terkaya di dunia. Namun di saat yang sama, angka ketidakmerataan pendapatan di negeri Paman Sam juga sangat tinggi. Dan salah satu penyebabnya adalah korupsi. Korupsi ternyata menjadi satu penyakit di banyak negara termasuk juga Amerika. Iqbal Himawan mendatangi sejumlah negara bagian di Amerika Serikat untuk mengetahui bagaimanakah negeri adikuasa ini memerangi korupsi dengan mengusung konsep transparansi.
Amerika Serikat, negara adidaya yang juga memiliki banyak permasalahan. Tidak berbeda dengan Indonesia dan negara lain, Amerika juga masih berperang melawan korupsi. Dari data persepsi korupsi lembaga Transparency International, Amerika Serikat menduduki peringkat ke-16. Ternyata teknologi canggih tidak menjamin suatu negara bebas korupsi. Apa penyebab masih menjamurnya praktek korupsi di Amerika? Bagaimana pula cara mengurangi praktek culas ini? Saya datang ke beberapa negara bagian di Amerika Serikat untuk mencari jawaban. Satu kata kuncinya, transparansi. Pegiat anti korupsi dan KPK beberapa kali menemui kesulitan saat meminta data kepada pemerintah daerah ataupun lembaga terkait dengan aliran dana yang berasal dari APBN. Di Amerika Serikat, pihak-pihak yang menolak untuk memberikan data atau informasi ini bisa dikenai sanksi penjara. Menurut Direktur Office of Open Government, Tracy L. Hughes, transparansi adalah janji politik yang baik, tapi kenyataannya sulit diterapkan.
We are working here every day to move this idea of government transparency from a philosophical discussion to an actuality. Meaning, government agencies have to understand that anything that they are creating could potentially be viewed by the public. That should not be a sense, that should not provide any anxiety to government agencies or any angst or stress, but there should be this automatic default to open unless the law specifically allows that government record or those meetings to be cut off from view from the public.
Most of what is wrong with our systems starts with this.
Bagaimana tanggapan masyarakat, terutama kalangan muda, terkait masalah transparansi ini? Di negara bagian Cleveland, saya menemukan jawabannya.
So thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Menurut penggagas Transparency Camp, Kat Duffy, keterbukaan data dan informasi oleh pemerintah sangat penting untuk mencari solusi dari berbagai permasalahan yang ada.
So this particular transparency camp is focused on transparency and accountability for governments. That involves a lot of work with open government, a lot of work with open data, which might be sort of niche terms or jargon terms for your audience. But we're focused very much on how you open up government information to the public at the state and the local level, and the solutions that you can create with that information.
No, we're not. So you're gonna raise your hands up like these people. I made them do this last Saturday.
Forum ini menjadi ajang bertukar gagasan dan ide untuk mendorong semangat transparansi.
CityGram is a way for you to subscribe to your city.
Kontribusi datang dari salah satu anak muda yang jadi pembicara di Transparency Camp, Jill Bayer, yang membuat website bernama citygram.org.
What's the difference between this CityGram and we have already some, the same applications before that the civic can report if there's anything happens on their neighborhood? What's the difference?
So what we've done is we created something that uses text and email. So it doesn't require the citizens to load an additional app. I think it would help in that way because what it does is anything that you can put on an open data portal, such as in the US, our budgets are on open data portals. So when a city government publishes their budget, we can break that down into bite-sized pieces of data and transform that and send that out into an email or a text. It may be a lot of information for a text, but it can come out in an email format and broadcast that out to all of the citizens.
Transparansi menjadi kata kunci pemerintah setempat untuk mencegah sekaligus memberantas korupsi. Mereka bahkan membuat sebuah departemen yang khusus mengurusi keterbukaan data.
We go to getting services up at the top.
Tujuannya agar mudah diakses oleh warga, seperti yang ada di negara bagian California ini.
And then how is it going so far?
I'd say quite well. In a way, in technology, we can't just be blind to the things that are happening outside of us. We have to consider the political, the environmental, the social, the technological environment, and how all those come to bear on how we want to provide service to the citizens and to the state. So one of those in particular is how we want to increase our measure of transparency to the folks that support us, are the taxpayers of the state, the citizens that we serve. So in doing so, to be a shared partner in driving solutions, again, back to the folks that we serve.
So far, Tracy, what has the impact of the Office of Government been?
Well, I think it's been good. It's kind of difficult to gauge because there's just three of us here, so we've really been in the trenches, and up until about a year and a half ago, it was just me. I can tell you for sure that the impact has been significant on our boards and commissions, all of our public bodies, because until I came on board, many of them, number one, didn't know that the Open Meetings Act existed. If they did know that the law was on the books, they had no way to comply with the meeting notice requirements, the timeliness of publishing audio files, video files, meeting minutes, and agendas. So we've had a significant impact. And this is just simply through the use of technology. You don't have to go from agency to agency to agency to find out which public body is holding a meeting and where they're holding it. You can go to that one central location on our website, and it's all there for you.
Birokrasi yang berbelit-belit dan panjangnya proses administratif sering menjadi sarang korupsi kecil-kecilan. Karenanya, kemudahan akses menjadi keniscayaan bagi warga untuk turut mengawasi penggunaan anggaran.
A lot of time data is available, but it's not made available in a way that is easy to access or to analyze. So a really good example is when a government puts out a report or puts out information, but they only put it out as a PDF and not as a spreadsheet. If you work in data, it's much easier and much more useful to have that spreadsheet because it allows you to analyze the data for yourself.
So, and then you make it more, transform the data to become more understandable even for your mom?
Exactly, exactly. So what that does is the data, especially open data, it comes in these huge swaths of information that's not necessarily readable and isn't very user-friendly. So what we've done is we take that data and we curate it as far as we take out the jargon and translate that into readable text and add in actual grammar.
Yeah.
So it's readable and it's easy to understand. And what that does is it makes it relevant.
Kebutuhan untuk mengakses data dengan mudah tidak hanya berguna bagi warga biasa, tapi juga bagi aparat pemerintah. Karena ternyata di negara maju seperti Amerika Serikat pun koordinasi antar lembaga masih belum merata.
So now all of the board and also the agencies are ready with the system itself.
Well, right now it's not mandatory that boards and commissions publish there. It's been a real collaborative effort with the current mayor, where she is assuring that all public bodies are publishing to that central calendar. But right now it's not mandatory. So that's just another indication of where we've got some more work to do, right? So we're getting voluntary compliance with publishing and using and utilizing that tool. Now we're working at pushing legislation forward that would make it mandatory for public bodies to actually use that tool.
And that's how we can engage, yeah?
Yes, I mean, it's, I think for us the importance is really about governments opening up data because the data that comes from governments has been paid for by taxpayers, right? And so it really should be the public's information wherever possible. And then the public can do with it what the public is interested in, right? Every citizen has a different lens. Everyone has something different that matters to them. So long as the data is open, everyone can look at it and use it for the purposes that matter to them. And that means that we have a more engaged citizenry, a more engaged public. And that fundamentally means we have a more representative democracy.
Kisah orang muda yang punya pengaruh besar. 360 segera kembali.